Hi Sagittarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of February. We are now in a whole new era in this real age of Aquarius, and it represents infinite possibility. At the beginning of 2020, we experienced an unforgettable tale because Saturn and Pluto, the two malefics of the zodiac, met up at the world axis, which is at 22 degrees of the cardinal sign of Capricorn. And this occurred in your house of income and value and how you can be creative. And the last couple of years, you've been focusing on how you can restructure your value and how you can create. And at the end of 2020, both Saturn and Jupiter exited Capricorn and entered the sign of Aquarius, and the two met up on the winter solstice on December 21st at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius, and that ushered in a whole new era of how we can structure a new vision. And for you, this combination occurred in your third house of communication, thoughts, ideas, local neighborhood, local community. It's about teaching and writing and learning, and it's very exciting. And on the 30th of January, Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius. And this gives you a preview of what the next couple of years is going to be like, because Saturn is going to be touring in this house until March 7th of 2023. There are 30 degrees to a sign. 0 is the first and 29 is the final. So Mercury gets to almost the entire sign of Aquarius minus 3 degrees. And it gets to where Saturn will be by the middle of February. So, it's almost the entire transit of Saturn in Aquarius. So pay attention to the messages that Mercury is bringing you in this month and in March. And Mercury has been transiting in Aquarius since January 8th. So a lot of communication, a lot of ideas, probably people have resurfaced from your neighborhood or your childhood or old memories. And it's a very inventive time. So on February 1st, Venus enters the sign of Aquarius, where it'll transit until February 25th. And this is excellent for being creative in your communication and manifesting and, just focusing on what you want to beautify in your neighborhood. On the 1st of February, the sun also squares Mars in the sky, and that can be contentious. On the 6th of February, Venus meets up with Saturn, and that can be challenging with relationships. It can be a bit restrictive. And later in the day, Venus sextiles Chiron, the wounded healer, and that can be helpful. But I feel like relationships will be a bit challenging that day because later in the day, Venus is going to square Uranus, and that can be unpredictable and unexpected and challenges with finances and partnerships. On the 9th of February, Saturn forms a helpful sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is transiting in your house of romance and creativity and self-expression. This can bring healing work around your creative path and around what makes your heart happy. On the 11th of February, we have an excellent new moon, and that's an excellent date to target for manifesting work, for setting intentions, and for doing the law of abundance. The new moon takes place at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 17 minutes of Aquarius. Earlier that day, Venus and Jupiter, which are both the benefics of the zodiac, meet up and bring a beautiful and creative and romantic energy. And so that's a really manifesting day. And Saturn and Jupiter are still conjunct. They're starting to separate, but still focus on what the vision is that you want to structure. Jupiter rules your sign. You are a visionary. Saturn structures what we try to magnetize. All of the story is occurring in your house of thoughts. Manifesting occurs when we really believe it can happen. You know, manifest through your written words, through your affirmations, sing it out loud, do what you need to do. Mercury is going to be conjunct Venus, which is very creative. Mercury is also conjunct Jupiter, which is auspicious. And Mercury is conjunct the Sun and Moon, which brings a whole new beginning. On the 12th or 13th of February, depending on where you live, Venus meets up exactly with Mercury, and that's a very kind and romantic and creative energy. The two meet up on 9:48 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 12th and at 2:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 13th. Excellent for communication and creative pursuits. On Valentine's Day on February 14th, Mercury meets up with Jupiter, and that's very auspicious energy around all forms of communication and good for love, good for happiness, and good for feeling optimistic. On the 17th of February, we have a more challenging energy because Saturn squares Uranus in the sky. Those are both the rulers of Aquarius. Saturn rules Aquarius in ancient astrology, and Uranus rules Aquarius in modern astrology. Uranus is transiting in your 6th house of work and routine, and Saturn's transiting in your house of communication and local environment. That's a day to lay low. The two are going to meet up and square one another in June and December this year. And the last time that occurred was in June of 1999 through May of 2000. So it doesn't happen that frequently. And the two do not blend well. Saturn is limitations and Uranus is freedom and chaos. Lay low and just realize we're all going to be experiencing that. On the 18th of February, the Sun enters the sign of Pisces, where it'll be transiting until March 20th, and that'll be transiting in your house of home and family and emotional foundation. The Sun shines wherever it transits, so it's good for doing work around the home and for getting your needs met. On the 20th of February, Mercury stations direct at 11 degrees and 1 minute of Aquarius, and this helps us all to move forward with our goals and what we want to achieve. On the 25th of February, Venus enters the sign of Pisces and enters your house of home and emotional foundation, and that's really good energy for fixing up your place, for feeling good if you work from home, coming up with creative ideas with your business, for feeling just happier, and it's a nice energy. On the 26th of February, Jupiter in Aquarius trines the North Node of Destiny, and the North Node is transiting in Gemini in your house of partnerships through January of 2022. This is an excellent energy for fated opportunities around business, around connecting, around relationships, just a nice energy. On the 27th of February, we have a full moon that takes place at 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 8 degrees and 57 minutes of Virgo. This full moon takes place in your house of career and life goals. This can bring a culmination to something you've been working on. I have a feeling it's going to be an emotional full moon because it's just a degree off from the world axis, so it means that we're all going to be feeling it, and it also sets off where the lunar eclipse was on November 30th at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of Gemini, and that eclipse occurred in your house of partnerships. I think there are a lot of good aspects in February, but we're still dealing with a very unpredictable and chaotic energy in Aquarius. So let's get together and connect and innovate. Take care.